The day the glass doors slid open at Solaris Systems, the air shimmered with fluorescent light and quiet judgment, and a single father stepped inside carrying more than a folded resume. He carried the weight of overdue rent, the memory of a daughter asleep on a borrowed couch, and a promise he had whispered to the morning sun that he would not give up today. When he said he could translate the code no one else could, the room felt like it tilted, and laughter followed him like a shadow that refused to let go. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet strength of ordinary people, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindora Life. Your support keeps stories like this alive, and it tells the world that hope still matters. Arman Halim had learned to walk softly through life, the way someone does after losing too much too fast. Daylight always found him awake before the city, packing a simple lunch and checking the forecast so he could plan the walk to the bus stop with his daughter in mind. The morning he arrived at Solaris Systems, the sun poured through tall windows, bouncing off white desks and blue screens that pulsed with lines of logic no one could quite untangle. Arman's hands bore the map of years spent fixing what others threw away, and his eyes carried a careful calm shaped by nights spent studying open-source repositories while his daughter breathed softly nearby. He had not come to beg, he had come to offer something precise and rare. Solaris Systems was stuck. A legacy platform meant to translate and migrate an aging codebase had become a maze of errors, draining money and patience. Teams rotated in and out, consultants left with invoices and excuses, and the deadline pressed closer with the cruelty of a noon sun that shows every flaw. Rica laughed when Arman explained his background in community labs, night classes, and unpaid bug bounties, her smile sharp with the confidence of someone who had never been told no by circumstance. She saw a janitor's badge from his previous contract and assumed the limits of his mind matched the limits of his uniform. Daytime offices can be brutal places for quiet people. Everything is exposed and confidence echoes. Arman felt the familiar heat of doubt, the old reflex to apologize for existing. He breathed through it and asked for a chance measured not in credentials, but in output. The room hummed, screens glowing, sunlight slicing through glass walls. Rica granted him a test, not because she believed, but because disbelief enjoys a stage. She assigned a corrupted module that had stalled the entire project, a knot of obsolete syntax and undocumented dependencies that had mocked experts for weeks. Arman nodded, rolled up his sleeves, and asked only for a desk near a window. He worked better when the light reminded him that time was moving forward. As the hours passed, the building's daytime rhythm played around him. Coffee machines hissed, chairs scraped, meetings blurred into motion behind frosted glass. Arman read the code like a language he had once spoken fluently and had never forgotten, tracing patterns back to their origins, translating intention instead of symbols. He mapped the logic on paper, cross-referenced libraries, and tested hypotheses with the patience of a parent teaching a child to ride a bike. Each fix revealed another layer, and the maze began to straighten. The pressure did not break him, it focused him. By afternoon, something shifted. The module compiled cleanly, data moved where it should, errors fell silent, the system breathed. Sunlight leaned toward evening, and the glow on Arman's face was not pride but relief, the kind that comes from knowing the bus fare home would be covered and dinner might include something warm. Rica watched the dashboard's update, disbelief tightening into a careful stillness. She checked the logs, reran the tests, and stared at the translation notes Arman had left behind, written. Clearly so others could follow. The laughter did not return. The challenge had never been intelligence, it had been access. Arman's life had taught him how quickly doors close and how rarely they reopen. He remembered the day his daughter asked why they moved so often, and how he had answered with a smile that did not quite reach his eyes. He remembered daylight afternoons, spent fixing broken toys for neighbors in exchange for groceries, nights lit by a single lamp and a stubborn hope. This job was not a miracle, it was a recognition, and recognition can change everything. Rica called a meeting while the sun still ruled the sky. She spoke of results, timelines, and the undeniable truth that the project had turned because someone had seen what others had dismissed. Her expression softened, not into apology, but into respect, which sometimes takes longer and lasts longer too. Arman was offered a contract that became a role, a seat at the table where decisions were made in the open light of day. He asked if the days that followed carried a different weight. Arman's daughter walked into a brighter apartment, sunlight spilling across floors that were theirs, not borrowed. He taught at Lunch and Learns, translating not just code but confidence, reminding teams that solutions often come from the margins. Rica watched and learned, recalibrating her own assumptions as the system stabilized and the deadline became a celebration rather than a threat. Daytime meetings felt less sharp, less performative, more human. About flexibility, about school pickups and the cost of missing a bus, and the answer was yes. The words settled into him like warmth.